Good morning, friends and neighbors, and welcome back to the Hapeville channel this morning. Dewey here with you. It's a little overcast at this moment, but the weather is fine. It's 56 degrees and everything smells fresh and wet. It got wet overnight. Where we are right now is I've decided to walk around in Virginia Park again, and we're at the corner of Elkin Street and Custer. And admittedly, I was going to go to another area of town and then sort of panicked when I got over there because I couldn't park and couldn't walk around that area. So I just drove and was like, okay, just wherever you're called. And so here I am in Virginia Park at Elkins and Custer. Good morning, Don. Good to see you. So we'll walk around here. I'll flip this around, and here we're looking east on Elkins and Custer, and there was a time where this residential street continued across Elkins. Custer did. We're on Custer, and I would say back in all the way up until the mid to late 60s, the neighborhood continued all the way over to here until Delta built that big headquarters. I think they built that in 74. That's what pops in my head, but I'm not sure. But here this monolith has sat completely empty for a long time, and I've heard lots of stories of that it was headquarters or a call center. At one point it had apartments. I don't know much about it. All I know is it's just sitting there and there's been nobody in it. Good morning, Beverly. But what's really interesting is here's their parking lot, and that's their parking lot as well over there, and it's just all overgrown. Nature takes over when we move out, but it's fascinating to me that just sits there. So I figured we would walk around this neighborhood, and my car is down there, so we're gonna do a big circle. And good morning. So we'll start over here, and here's something that you see a lot in Hapeville that I really like. I'll show you up close. Look at this magnificent tree. And somebody was telling me the other day, they were pointing out trees and going, oh, that's a water oak, and that's this, and that's that. I don't know by looking at trees what they are, unfortunately. I haven't really paid attention to it, but look at this. Look how huge this thing is and what it has done. It has said, good job, City of Hapeville, building your sidewalk back in the 40s. This is what I think of it. I think that's magnificent. Don Miller says we had training in that building. Okay. Thank you very much for letting me know. Had training in there. I can't even imagine what it must be like. I don't know who owns that building still, if it's Delta. I'm assuming it was Delta, but I look at that and go, what kind of business could go there now? Like, what could that be? It's been sitting here empty for so long, I wonder. My guess would be that all this land will get purchased by a developer, all of it. And they'll knock that down and they'll put townhomes here. That's my guess, but I could be wrong. All right, we'll walk this way. This is number 930. It's a new build. Eddie and James live there. I've never been inside, but that is their house on the corner. And it certainly is a lot. Good morning. How are you?
Thank you. How are you?
It's good. It certainly is a lot different than the original houses that were here. Here is 931. 927, these modest little houses that were built back in the 40s. They're always my preference. Always my preference. I can't imagine owning a big, huge house. I would get too panicky thinking of all the upkeep. The little house that Douglas and I live in now, I can get panicky about. Look at that one. That's beautiful. 924. Well, I never noticed. This one's very similar to Eddie and James' house, so it was probably built around the same time as infill. 920. That's beautiful. They're beautiful. I wouldn't not live in it. I just would want to be really rich, so when the roof needed redone, I didn't have to think about it. Here's number 919. Now, over here in Virginia Park, and it makes sense because Virginia Park's been here 100 years, since 1921. before that, but officially I think they started calling it the Virginia Park Development in 1921 and advertising it and selling lots, so exactly 100 years ago. So it's been here a while, so it makes sense that a lot of these new homes are over here. It's what's happening over in over behind Main Street between Loop Road and such. You know, a lot of the old houses being lost and these big ones being built. They're pretty. They're really close to one another, but they're beautiful. Beautiful houses. We're at Rainey and Custer now. You remember that triangle? This is so cool. I love to think of this. The entrance is right over there to Virginia Park. From Central Avenue. You come in and then there's this divide right here. There's a newer house right there at 892. An original house right there. I love that one. That one's so cute. 3404. Here's the marker for Virginia Park, right in front of 3405. If you wanted to get a great picture of your house, if you live there, you could get it with the name of your neighborhood right in the same shot. That's beautiful. It's a nice little triangular park here. I always thought it'd be funny to just bring out a chair and sit right here, and all the people driving by would think you're insane, but you're like, it's my park. It's my Virginia Park. Isn't that lovely? 3404. I found that in some research. I keep this file on my computer of addresses, and if I find an obituary or anything at all, I put it in the folder that corresponds, and I have something about this house. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Don says it looks so good. It was pretty run down in the 70s. That's what I heard. This entire area was run down, and the thing about it is, even now, this is 3409. I do pet sitting there sometimes. Even now, Don, because this area was in blight for so many decades, 70s, 80s, and 90s, even now when I'm up in when I'm up in Atlanta and people ask me where I live, when I say Hapeville, I get one of two answers. I get where, because people in Atlanta have no idea where we are, or I get ooh. When I say Hapeville, they go ooh, like ooh, that's rough. And I'm like, listen, I wasn't here at the time, but I've heard stories and it's not like it anymore. I have never noticed this house because I'm always driving. Look at this one. Holy monkey. It's all, I don't think anybody lives there. Whoever owns this is just sitting on it. But I look at it, all the wood on the front. This is 3419. Look at those old dormer windows up there. I love on old buildings when you can see the years and years of paint on them. But this one, you can see the original house was right there. They added this porch, this big thing on the front. And it's got a lot of detail in it. So at its time, that probably was pretty impressive. And that big window, all of that would have been really impressive, brand new. Good morning, Melanie. I'm over in Virginia Park this morning. I was gonna take a walk yesterday, but something came up right as I was about to go out the door and I had to cancel it. But there's 3419, holy cow. Look at that, even all of the, all of these are breaking off and such. I always see properties like this. Good morning, Kim Summer. Properties like this and I just go, I wonder how long it'll be before somebody snatches that up. But that's pretty cool. Across the street, there's number 3420, 3426. And, oh, you missed him. There was a stray dog walking down. I don't know what it was like when y'all lived here, but I have never lived in a place that has so many stray dogs and stray cats. This is number 3425. My friend Ben lives here. I take care of his dogs for him sometimes. And I believe that's a duplex. It is. That little house is a duplex. And actually, I can't be sure because it looks from the distance like a single family home, but then you see these two doors on the porch. it makes you wonder. I think that might have actually been built as a duplex. That one's very cute. This one's brand new, $34.29. Good morning, Laura. I'm over in Virginia Park this morning. I love these bungalow style houses. These are so lovely with the 4 pillars in the front, $34.36. I wore thermal underwear this morning, you guys, and I'm quickly realizing I actually probably didn't need to do that. I grew up mostly in Orlando, Florida. I worked at Disney for many, many years, and so I like to be warm, but oof. $34.40, it's a corner property. That's really cute. Although what's really interesting is this looks so idyllic and out of the way, and then you just turn this way and we're on Rainy, and boop, there's Virginia Avenue right there. And you can see the tails of the UPS airplanes right there. Look at that. Isn't that something? You've got this beautiful, idyllic neighborhood. Look at this. Look at that. And then the airport. I think it's fascinating, and because I understand the history and how the airport ended up there, it just fascinates me. I think that's a big reason why I love Hapeville so much, is because the fact that it's still here is a miracle, frankly, with everything that this town has dealt with as far as construction. We're gonna go west on Orchard because there's these new townhomes, but just before there's this little apartment building here that looks like it might have been built in the 30s. I've never looked it up, but I love the juxtaposition between this old multi-unit and how we live now. Let me turn this way till we get there. Look at that, $34.77. That's new, but they did a good job of making the style fit the neighborhood. That one too. But it's a big, beautiful house, but they're literally facing the airport. Isn't that something? But look at this place. I love it. Has anybody ever known anybody that lived there? Did you ever go in there? This reminds me of when I was a little kid. I was born in a city called Ithaca, New York. And my very earliest years were spent in a little town nearby called Lansing. And this reminds me of how I lived as a kid. When I was a little boy, my grandfather owned an apartment building and it looked very similar to this, and I lived upstairs like this. And those stairs seemed to go to heaven to me when I was a kid. But look at that old apartment building, which I just love. And then right next door now, boom. I forget what these are called. I'll have to look at the sign on the corner. But these are new townhomes that were built. And unlike the ones on the other side of the tracks in Hapeville, good morning, Lou. Unlike the ones on the other side of the tracks, the Clyde and the other townhomes, these ones are really cool because they have on the back side, oh, you can see, they have a deck on the top, some of them. So those people can go out on the roof, they can have a party, and they can watch the airplanes land and take off. Come on. Now, if you're gonna live near an airport, I'm like, you gotta have a deck so you can watch the airplanes take off. I mean, how cool is that? Sitting up there, having a drink. You know, most people are like, I hate living near the airport, but the folks that have the upper deck, they can take full advantage of it. All right, we're coming up to Elkins Street, and here is, we'll look at it this way. That's looking east, and then I'm turning and looking northwest. You can see the old Delta training building there. But Orchard Street would have continued as well, and there would have been more residences over there, but now this is all an empty lot. And oh, it's called The Landing at Virginia Park. Well, that makes sense. And look how cool. There's the tower. There's Virginia Avenue. And there's the sign, The Landing at Virginia Park. That's a fitting name. But again, I just love that they have those rooftop decks so they can watch the airplanes. Good morning, Sheila. Good morning, Ben. I just passed your house. I just passed your house, Ben. I'm creeping on your house. Your dogs didn't bark, though. They must be sleeping. Here's 3440 right on the corner. That one looks as it would have looked a long time ago. Someone will update it eventually. Whenever I see a house like this in Hapeville that still looks sort of original and hasn't been updated at all, I guess that it probably is the owners are just renting it and they don't want to put too much into it because of that. Here's 3434. I forgot what road we're on. Elkins. We're on Elkins. They got into the Christmas spirit. And look, whole empty lot. It's just fascinating to me. It's fascinating. It's got an apron, so that leads me to believe that at one time there was a house here. But they get to spread out and put all their Christmas decorations out, and they had fun with it. 3426. It's a cute little house, isn't it? Oh, you're in Sewanee. Have a good time. And look, they look across, and there was a time where their view would have been just like hundreds of cars out here. I mean, this is a huge parking lot. So for a few decades anyway, since that is closed, what, 20 years, I think, they've gotten a nice quiet view of the street. But before, they would have had all these cars over here. I look forward to seeing what's going to happen here someday. Again, I think townhomes. Here's 3420. That's a new one. All of these are new, actually, and we're coming up to my car now. Oh, you did? You saw me pass by your house. Good morning, Kelly. This is 3416. Whew. So what plans do you all have for today? I'm kind of in a procrastinating mood because I have to do some business tax stuff. And I don't like adulting, y'all. I don't like adulting. But I gotta. This is the back of Eddie and James's house. Good morning, Larry. I think what I'll do, this is my car, because I'm enjoying the walk. Even though, y'all, I'm just doing a leisurely pace and Papa's sweating. God, I am out of shape. My stamina's ridiculous. I think that's one of the biggest surprises of being 53. By the way, what is today? The 3rd? 4th? I'm going to be 53 on the 7th. One of the biggest surprises is that I always thought I was going to feel like I did in my 20s. When I was at Disney and I was working those streets and performing and was so physical, I feel every single moment of that in my body now, which is partly why I take these walks. Whew. But this is the only exercise I get because I hate exercise. I do not like my heart rate to get up because I associate that with panic and anxiety, which I do not like that feeling. Anyway. We're gonna walk up to Willingham. Okay, here's something really interesting. Well, to me anyway. We're on Elkins and Virginia's this way, and Elkins runs all the way up to Willingham right there. What's interesting is before all this was built, the next street over, if you're to turn right here, there would have been more houses here, residential. There was another residential street that goes out to Virginia there called Lang Avenue, and part of it's still here. It just goes up to here and then curves around this way. But before all this was built and before the highway came through, Lang Avenue used to go straight up to Willingham. So Elkins would go up and Lang Avenue went up, and I found this article from the very early 20s of a family in a car. They were pulling out on Lang Avenue, out onto Willingham. And back then, we still had the trolley that went from East Point over to Hapeville on Willingham. The trolley, you could pick it up here, you could pick it up on Lang. And somehow they didn't see it coming. They pulled out in front of it, and the trolley hit that car, and it killed everybody in the car except one kid. There were 6 people in the car. It's crazy. So I think of that every time we go down Willingham to go to East Point. I get to that general area because that intersection doesn't exist anymore. It's now an overpass. And I think about that family. And I'm probably the only one who does because it's been so long that no one would know about it anymore. 3368, right across from this big empty parking lot. Good morning, Henrietta. Larry says I hit 59 and I'm thinking maybe Sensible shoes are my future. Yeah, that's, Larry, that's partly why I have leg, back, and knee issues, is I performed at Disney on cement, this, for 23 years, and I never had Sensible shoes. And I was young and I thought that I was gonna last forever. And so you can't pound the cement literally that long and not feel it. Yes, Larry, a streetcar. Now we are crossing, there's no street sign here, y'all. What is this road? There's something cool I want to show you here, though. There's no street sign. That's Willingham. And then for the longest time, I didn't know what this was. And then, of course, it makes sense. That was like a pagoda that people that worked in this building and trained in this building, right, Don? Did you ever go to an event at this? Was this there at the time? But it has like, it has heaters or lights or whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna get closer. I've never walked over here. But it was like a place to have company picnics and stuff. Yeah, you would park here, and there's a walkway that goes right up to it. Larry says, I lost 5 family members the same way in 1930. Did you really? From a streetcar accident? Yeah, that's gotta be awful. I mean, it's awful. But it happened not at this intersection, but down where the next one would have been, but it doesn't exist anymore. So here are 3 more infills, 3220, all the way up to Willingham. Now, one thing I wanted to show you over here, I don't know that I can walk up close because it'll be creepy because it's somebody's house, but this little duplex here has a family name on it, from a family name that you heard a lot. You don't hear it now, but if you research the city, like I do, you know that these were one of the founding families of Hapeville. But this duplex was built in 1954, and I know that because look, there's a plaque on it that says, in loving memory of Joseph Sims Thrill-Kill, 1954. I'm assuming that means this was built in 54 in his memory. But it also could mean that it was already here and maybe he lived here, but I'm gonna have to research this building more. What is the number of it? Oh, look at the kitty watching me. Hi, kitty. I can't find the number of it. Don says, yes, we had picnics there. Each duplex has a porch on the end, which is really nice. But the Thrill-Kills and the Sims, they were intertwined, and they were both founding families here in Hapeville. And I know y'all will remember one of the descendants, Henry Thrill-Kill, he ran the Quick Pick over on North Avenue and Stewart. Wow, I hadn't been down here before, but literally this entire side, except that's an original. But all of those are new. That one survived and is beautiful, and these are all new, all the way up to, and so are these. This is an original, at least from the 50s, I believe. This is number 910. I like the color of their mailbox. 908. Oh, we're right up. Oh, I'm gonna walk over and show you since we're there. I'm gonna walk over and show you the construction that's happening on Willingham over there. If you go way back in research, back to the late 1800s, we're at the corner of now, hold on, Colville. We're at the corner of Colville and Margaret. Oh, that's where I was walking. So Margaret used to continue also all the way across before that place was built. These are all new now on Margaret. So Margaret looks nothing like it would have back in the day. But this is Colville and Margaret. And way back at the turn of the century, whoever lived in this area, they had a goat farm right there on that corner, which I think is neat to know. But let's walk up here to Willingham. And it looks so different because they had to knock down so many trees over here. But where we are now that's the Ramada that you guys knew it as. It's in-city suites now. This is Willingham. There's a little convenience store here with King Kong wings in it. And then there used to be many years ago more homes over there. But it's just been an empty triangular lot for decades. But now, and it's between Norfolk Southern train tracks are right there. This is Sylvan Road. This is Willingham, North Central. But look, they've cleared it all out, and 85 goes right behind right here. But they're gonna put a bunch of townhomes in there. Good morning, Dee. I love those big porches too. So this will be good business for these stores, that's for sure. I can't imagine this little intersection in the afternoon gets absolutely insane. So I can only imagine what it's gonna look like when that's all done. Back behind was where the Owens, Illinois glass factory was, and it's still there, but it's completely empty, just sitting there. A lot of activity going on down here. But that's Willingham. You go across 85 and over to East Point. Ooh, that breeze feels good. I cannot believe the beautiful weather we're having in December. I'm so grateful for it. I hope it's beautiful where you are. You know, I had never noticed how much Margaret Street is all new. There's literally two original houses on that street now, and I didn't know that until we just walked it together. And now on Colville, these are brand new as well. They were building these when I moved here 4 years ago. This duplex is original. This little house, I say original, I'm talking like within the last 50 to 75 years. And then this is my friend Jennifer's house, Jennifer and Tony. And there's only a few houses here on the street that are the originals here in Colville, and they've done a beautiful job making theirs look nice. Whoever allowed them to tear all those trees down should have their Hapeville card revoked. I hear you, D. I hear you. As I've said before, I have my opinions, but it's hard to feel justified or valid in expressing them because I don't go to city council meetings. Here's 3382. Wow, it's so pretty. They've got pretty porch furniture, a little stacked rock. That's lovely. 3382, whoever lives there. And look at the, I don't know if you can see it because of the sun, but that momiji, the Japanese maple, it matches the color of their house right now. And look at the bird feeder. It's very active. Wow, what are those, starlings? And it's got a willow tree out front, which means there's water under there. So I'm right there with you, D, when all of that got torn down, and whenever that happens in town, I get bummed. I really do. But I don't go and express myself at city council meetings. Not that that would make any difference, but therefore I feel like I can't too publicly go, I'm not happy about that. Let's see. Beverly said, my dad grew up just over the tracks on the railroad tracks, and my great uncle owned the Keller Apartments for Men. Owens, Illinois is behind them. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I'm gonna sit on this wall for a second while I think. Because I was looking at Google Earth the other day, and there were these apartment buildings directly behind Owens, Illinois. I wonder if those were the Keller Apartments you're talking about, like several brick buildings back there right behind Owens, Illinois. Like maybe you can get to them from, not Sylvan, but the road on the other side. In 1974, says Don, we moved to 3113 East Point Street. I rode the bus down Willingham, wow, to Hapeville High School till Mr. Givens made me switch to Russell. Wow, you rode the exact route that the trolley car used to be until 1938. They tore it out, and then you took the bus. Wow. And for a while, the buses ran with the electricity on the top. You know, they ran on those same wires, and then they called them trackless trolleys. And then the buses went from being trackless trolleys to like the fuel buses that we know today. It's a beautiful corner lot right there on the corner of Rainey and Custer. Cool, so that was called Keller Apartments. Thank you so much. Now I know a little bit more. And did you say your dad owned it? My dad grew up just over the tracks, yes, on the railroad tracks. Some of those buildings are still there. I went over there, it's a dead end. They're very run down. And your great uncle owned the Keller Apartments for men. Owens, Illinois is behind them. Yes, they're still there. That is fascinating. I actually think I know exactly where you're talking about. I wish I could zip over there. I mean, I could. But I always feel weird driving down that little stretch of North Central because it's now, because of the highway coming through and everything, it's sort of isolated and it's a dead end and it's rentals back there. And so when you go back there, it's obvious that you shouldn't be back there, like, unless you live there. And so the people stare at you like, what the hell are you doing here? It's a little weird. So cute. Good morning, Jean. I'm walking around Virginia Park. Coming to the end of my walk because I'm hungry. And I've been, listen, y'all. I've been real good the last 2 weeks. How many times? Ask me how many times I've gone to the Chick-fil-A. Thank you for asking. None in 2 weeks. No, that's a lie. Once. Maybe twice. But now, and I said I wasn't going to go this morning, but now I left my house without eating, and so now those chicken minis are calling my name. The apartments just sold, and my great uncle owned them. He just passed. He was in his 90s. Oh, wow. 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 They just sold, and he owned them. Wow, he had them for a long time. Good morning, Donald. Well, I hope his family is benefiting from that. Okay, well, I'm almost back to my car. I appreciate you all taking this walk with me. Like I said, I gotta go get something to eat and then go do some tax stuff. I do not want to, but I'm rewarding myself because once I get the tax stuff done, then I can do some editing of some video. I found some video from about 15 years ago of a performance I did, and I thought I lost it completely. So I've put it into my editing system, and I'm having a real fun time editing it all together from years ago. It's like time traveling, and I'm going to share some of it in the future, I'm sure. Judy Hames says, when is the ad warehouse reopening? I don't know what that is, Judy. Maybe somebody else can tell you. Sherry, I think I'm gonna do just that. They're so good. But I'm gonna skip the oh, you're right, D. Okay, I'm gonna get off of here because I have the app, and if I order it real quick. All right, thank you for that reminder, D. Dang it. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy it, Laura. And, oh, there's Eddie out on his back porch. No, because Judy, oh, what? Dwarf Grill? Should say Dwarf Grill? I'm not sure what you mean. Right now, the Dwarf House, the Dwarf Grill, it's being renovated. So there's a place off Virginia that we go to get our fix now. All right, let me see if I gotta get the Chick-fil-A. All right, thanks for following, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.